Good, please leave.
Go with it.
Yeah, that's what I want you to do now, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving, mate. It's public area.
I don't care. I want you to leave now, please.
Oh, I don't worry about
Mate, we're dealing with someone who's really not very well, a young child. Do you really want to film that? Right. I suggest you leave, please.
Or what?
Because otherwise I'm going to make you leave, yeah?
How are you going to make me
Section
leave?
35. There's 35 in place at the moment. Yeah. So please leave. Or stop filming. Or stop filming.
I've got the 16 or 635, right?
Alright then, so this one, as you've just seen there, this constable has just threatened to arrest him under section 33 of the Antisocial Behaviours Act for filming. We know it was for filming because he said, or turn off your camera. Leave or turn off your camera, or we will make you leave under section 33, which to me sounds like abuse of power, which is a section 25. We'll get into these sections in the video, but this absolute numpty is just showing why the people do not like the police, because they do this sort of thing. Now, I understand to an extent that somebody's in distress and they don't really want it filming. Well then, create the privacy. Create that privacy. Block off half the beach. Give them that privacy. It's that simple. Don't threaten to abuse your powers just because you can. So, let's just get straight into this video.
What's going on? It's a bit windy around here. Yeah. Same reason you're down here, to have a look around.
Sorry?
Same reason you're here, to look around.
I know we're dealing with an incident, we're not looking around.
Oh, alright.
Yeah? Cool. I was just wondering, mate, just checking you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Don't mind, just fine. Are you filming at all?
Yeah.
Do you mind not, mate?
Why not?
Because we're dealing with something quite sensitive. And
Yeah, but I can't see my nose.
Yeah, but I don't really want you filming it, mate. It's quite sensitive. You wouldn't want someone filming you if you're not very well, would you?
Yeah, but it's a public beach.
I know, mate, but I'm just asking you as a human being.
I wasn't. I was filming a video, lights over there. I'm trying to figure what that is over there.
Right, that's absolutely fine, but don't point your camera this way, mate. It's not very nice as a human, is it? Yeah? I'm not saying it as a policing level, I'm just saying it as a human level, mate.
Who said I'm human?
I'm just saying it I am, and I wouldn't like it, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So I appreciate if you please don't film this way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, mate.
Can you tell me what that is over there?
Yeah, it's just a wind farm out there, mate.
Oh, right, it looks like a little town or something.
No.
Okay then, so if it's in a medical emergency, why phone the police? I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying it's a stupid thing to do, phone the police, because the police don't do anything but make things worse. We've seen the police turn up to medical emergencies and then get violent. We've seen the police arrest autistic people, lesbian nan for instance. We've seen the police abuse their powers constantly. Now, if it is a medical emergency, I'm not saying it's not, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying if it is, maybe the police is not the first protocol. Maybe an ambulance should be the first protocol. And maybe the police could come along with the ambulance just to make sure nothing does get violent. But in this instance, sometimes I don't think the police are the best, because they're not trained to deal with this sort of thing. That's what the medical service is for, not the police. But let's continue back into the video.
It's just a wind farm out there, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Alright, mate, you local to Brighton, or?
I'm sorry?
You local to Brighton?
No.
Right.
Miles away.
Fair enough.
There's a horrible beach around here as well. You can't even go jogging on it.
No, you can't do, mate. Well, mate, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Like guys and Brian here as well. It's so dark around here.
Mate, look, I've asked you once, please don't film this way, yeah?
I'll film it over there.
Right, yeah, you scanned across the top of my head. I'm not stupid.
What was I
I've
to
seen
do?
exactly what you're doing.
Should
Please
I
leave.
go over there?
Yeah, so what I want you to do now, please.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not leaving, mate. It's a public area.
I don't care, I want you to leave now, please.
Oh, no, don't worry,
mate,
mate.
we're dealing with someone who's really not very well, a young child. Do you really
child?
want to film that? Right,
I've done what I want.
I suggest you leave, please.
Or what?
Because otherwise I'm going to make you leave, yeah?
How are you going to
Under
make me
Section
leave?
35, there's 35 in the place at the moment. Yeah, so please leave.
I've not seen a
or
Section
stop
35.
filming. Or stop filming.
I've only seen a 635 around here. Where's the sign?
There isn't signs, there's a police in power, mate, okay?
Okay, so you've just heard him threaten to use Section 35 of the Antisocial Behaviour and Crime and Policing Act of 2014, which is this. Right, so I'm just going to have to do this because this is the important bit. It does say 3 as well, but... yeah, let's hit number 3 as well. So this.
If the conditions in subsections 2 and A3 are met and an authorization is in force under Section 34, a constable in uniform may direct a person who is in a public place in the locality specified in the authorization. A. To leave the locality or part of the locality, and B. Not to return to the locality or part of the locality for the period specified in the direction, the exclusion period. 2. The first condition is that the constable has reasonable grounds to suspect that the behavior of the person in the locality has contributed or is likely to contribute to A. Members of the public in the locality being harassed, alarmed, or distressed, or B. The occurrence in the locality of crime or disorder. 3. The second condition is that the constable considers that giving a direction to the person is necessary for the purpose of removing or reducing the likelihood of the events mentioned in subsection 2A or B. The period may expire after, as long as it begins during, the period specified.
Right, that's irrelevant. So it could say his filming is gonna cause somebody harassment, alarm, or distress, and removing that him filming would take away the likelihood of that event ever happening. So it could potentially use this section. Yeah, use this section if it is actually in place. So let's go back because this one here actually tells you authorization. So I wonder if this section is actually in place in the first place. But how does it get put into place? Let's find out.
Authorizations to use powers under Section 35. 1. A police officer of at least the rank of inspector may authorize the use in a specified locality, during a specified period of not more than 48 hours, of the powers given by Section 35. Specified means specified in the authorization. 2. An officer may give such an authorization only if satisfied on reasonable grounds that the use of those powers in the locality during that period may be necessary for the purpose of removing or reducing the likelihood of.
Yeah, the likelihood of... Wait, let's just play the rest of it out because it's quite important.
A. Members of the public in the locality being harassed, alarmed, or distressed, or B. The occurrence in the locality of crime or disorder. 3. In deciding whether to give such an authorization, an officer must have particular regard to the rights of freedom of expression and freedom of assembly set out in Articles 10 and 11 of the Convention. Convention has the meaning given by Section 21(1) of the Human Rights Act 1998. For an authorization under this section. A. It must be in writing. B. Must be signed by the officer giving it, and C. It must specify the grounds on which it is given.
So, if this is in place, it must not breach your Article 10 and 11, which is freedom of expression and freedom of assembly. Now, some could say freedom of expression is in filming, which, yes. So, it could not stop him from filming, as it says here. And it must be in writing and signed by the officer giving it and specify the grounds on which it is given. And it cannot be longer than 48 hours, unless if it is extended. But Do you honestly believe that this is in place? I do not. And there is ways to check in it, but I ain't going to go into that now. And if this is not in place, what have we just seen? We've just seen that officer commit a Section 26 of the Criminal Justice and Courts Act of 2015, which is this. Actually, let's go right down to number 2, because that tells you your punishment as well.
Corrupt or other improper exercise of police powers and privileges. 1. A police constable listed in subsection 3 commits an offence if he or she A. He exercises the powers and privileges of a constable improperly, and B. Knows or ought to know that the exercise is improper. 2. A police constable guilty of an offence under this section is liable, on conviction on indictment, to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 14 years or a fine, or both.
So, would you say him threatening to use Section 35 is improper use of his powers? And do you think he ought to know it's improper use of his powers? Because I probably would say that is expressing himself by filming, which they cannot actually stop. Now, if this is to be true, he should be imprisoned for 14 years or fined, or even both. Now, with a punishment of 14 years, a fine shouldn't even be an option, or a fine. It should be imprisoned up to 14 years, not exceeding 14 years. And a fine. It should not be, because 14 years, that's a stiff punishment, but you can get away with a fine. It doesn't line up to me. But this is what is Section 26. Let's just get back into the video.
Oh, yeah.
Please stop filming or leave. I just don't want you filming it. It's not very nice.
I'm filming the video.
Mate, I saw what you were doing, okay?
I thought it was going to turn up, go round.
Right,
to
you
see
can
my
do
video.
that way, but not while we're dealing, please, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm asking you nicely.
I'm going to stroll down the beach tonight.
Right, absolutely fine.
Oh, nice view. Bit of that the assistance.
We're currently dealing with an incident, right?
I know, you said that. I'm doing it right over your heads.
Okay, because there is a young girl here who's currently obviously not very well.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you if you don't film her right now. I know it's public space, you
Yeah.
are entitled to film, but right now we're currently dealing with something and she needs a bit of privacy.
I was walking
to
to the
feel
beach and you
better.
come back and you still bother me. What's your number?
Walk down there and film that bit at the beach.
What's
down
your
there.
number?
My number, Echo Bravo 013.
Oh, thank you. No, guys, you can't even come around and look over.
Okay then, so the sergeant has come over, said you're more than free to film, but would appreciate it if you didn't. But yet your other constable threatened to remove him under Section 35 of the Antisocial Behaviour and Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Because that's in place. Now, if it really was in place, would the sergeant have said that? Probably. So, which also makes me believe it's not in place, which also makes me believe that that constable did commit a Section 26. He's threatened to abuse his powers. Luckily, he didn't go ahead and do it. But he did threaten to abuse his powers, which should be a fine. He should be fined and punished under Section 26. Just for the mere use of his privileges as being a constable. Absolutely disgusting. And like I said, if that was in place, the sergeant probably would have come over and said something as well, and not said, "Oh, you're more than free to film, but we'd appreciate it if you didn't." It's absolutely disgusting, the fact that one constable can abuse his powers and then his sergeant doesn't question him on that. He just comes over and then says that, which which could show that that wasn't in place. And if he did get arrested for it, they would have to then prove that that was in place, which they wouldn't be able to if it's not in place. But let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this interaction. As always, like the video, it does help on YouTube's algorithm. And I'll catch you on the next one.